What is going on, everyone? My name is John, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to epoxy your floor and some simple tricks that'll make it a lot easier for you. But first things first, grab a beer because this is going to be quite the project. Just kidding. Get some water, hydrate, then get your beer because you're going to be working up a sweat. The kit that I'm going to be using for my garage is the Rustoleum Epoxyshield. There's a couple different brands out there. They all do essentially the same thing. This just happened to be available at my local Lowe's, so I picked that up. This one comes with the etch to make sure that you can adhere properly to the cement, the flakes, the two-part epoxy, stir stick, and the instructions. Another thing that you're going to want is some kind of concrete cleaner and degreaser, because if your garage is anything like mine, you've done a few oil changes in it and you've gotten grease all over the place. And the key thing to making sure you get a good epoxy finish is in the prep. It's 90% in the prep, 10% in putting down the epoxy. So you want to make sure you get a good degreaser. I have a brush here to brush in the degreaser. A little scraper, you can use a putty knife. I just had this little piece of metal left over from some other project. Use this to scrape things up. This little brush off wheel, which I'll show you where that can come in handy later. I have actually a weed sprayer here that we're going to use to apply the concrete cleaner, and of course your trusty dusty shop vac. So you want to make sure that you get up any of big debris. Essentially just scrape it all up. Anything that will prevent the surface from adhering properly, you'll want to scrape up with either your putty knife, or here I'm just using a little metal piece. Another thing you can do, something like this, where yeah, it's mostly up, but there's still something that's in there. This is where you get your metal brush and use that to kind of scrape off anything that's left. Perfect. And that'll just make sure that you get a nice clean adhesion, because again, prep is 90% of the job here. Something like this where, yeah, there's nothing really on the surface, it's pretty smooth, that can still prevent your epoxy from adhering properly. Go ahead and take your brush over it. Clean all that up. That right there is going to be the difference between a decent epoxy job and a perfect epoxy job. So let's keep going. I'll tell you what, this drill is a lifesaver. This thing is taking off some of that spackle so easy. I'm sure anything else that kind of gets in there and doesn't like chip off real easy, it's gonna make a world of difference. Probably one of the best ideas ever. Let's get back to it. All right, well, now that you have all the stuff scraped off the surface, you're gonna wanna make sure you get all that dirt off. So grab your handy shop vac, and let's get going. All right, so now we're ready to start doing the actual cleaning and degreasing of the cement. So what I did is I took my weed sprayer, used the recommended dosage and ratios on the degreaser container to mix up a gallon. This is going to make it a lot easier to actually apply it down and work with it. You can also just put it into a bucket and pour it on, but I find this to be a little more consistent in the spray pattern. So what you're going to do is spray some of this onto the concrete. Use your strong bristled brush to brush it in. Follow the instructions, because I'm sure each one of these degreasers is different. This one says to leave it on for no more than 10 minutes and then hose it off. Now I'm going to show you a little trick in cleaning this up once we get it going, but first let's get everything sprayed down. So now that it's sat for about 10 minutes, just gonna go ahead and spray it down, make sure that we get all of those chemicals coated in water. Go ahead and be generous here. We want to make sure that we get everything up. Now, what they say is to basically hose this down and wash it or spray it out of the garage. Now, it could still dry and leave some dirt fragments. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take my shop vac, which is a wet dry vac, convert it over to wet, and I'm going to vacuum up all this water just to make sure that if there's any dirt that's in the water that's left, it's not going to be there after it evaporates. It's all going to get sucked up in the shop vac. Let's go and do that. So now that we have that one section done, we get to do it like a lot more times. But again, it's all in the prep. What you do here and the time that you take now to make this perfect is what's going to allow that epoxy to just look great, not peel or chip or anything. Let's get back to it. Who needs to go to the gym when you're epoxying floors? Actually, I do. I need to go to the gym. But yeah, back to it. Well, that about does it for the cleaning portion of this prep work. We're gonna want to let this dry for a little bit, so now's a great time to sit down, relax, cool off. We're gonna come back tomorrow and we're gonna take care of etching the cement so that the epoxy can really adhere good. So now's a good time, get a glass of water, rehydrate. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, welcome back the next day, or should I say night. That's right, it's been a long day today. But I want to try and get a little bit of etching done today just to kind of keep the ball rolling. We got to get to etching. Now there's going to be 3 separate stages that you have to do about a section of the etching. It says 10 by 10 per concrete. Now my garage is 12 by 25, so don't tell anyone, but I'm probably just going to do half today, or half one section, half the next section. But you have to apply some water, put down the etcher, scrub it in vigorously, take it back up, and repeat that 2 more times. So we got a lot of work ahead of us. So let's go. Phase 1 done, 2 more to go. Holy cow, well, we have half the garage done. It actually looks really good. Now granted, it's still wet, so it might not look that great once it dries. But still, compared to the part that hasn't been etched yet, it looks really good. But I'm gonna call it a night. I still have another half to do. And it's late. I want to sit back and relax for a few. So I'll see you back again tomorrow. What's this, like day 3, 4, whatever. It's a long process. We'll be right back. Alright, well, we are done with the etching. First off, I have to apologize for this because it is 96 degrees out and I am working up a heck of a sweat trying to do all this, but I want to get this done today so I can do the epoxying tomorrow. But all the cleaning, etching, everything is done. All of the prep work good to go. Now we just need to let this dry, which it's 96 degrees and it's, super hot out. So it really should dry pretty quick, but I'm gonna leave it until tomorrow, do the epoxying, and hopefully everything will be good to go, but looks pretty good. Let's see. All right, everyone, it is epoxy day. We got all our stuff ready. We're gonna do one last sweep around the garage just to make sure that we have any dust or particles removed before we put the epoxy down. Then we're gonna get mixing, and there's a really time-sensitive component to this, so you're gonna wanna get some helping hands. Luckily, I've enlisted the help of my wife over there to trim in while I get rolling, and hopefully we get everything done in time. So cue the time lapse. Well, hot damn, is it nice to be done. And let me just say, this looks amazing. It turned out great. What we ended up doing was the brick along the edge first, using both the roller and the edger, letting that dry by the time that we got around to doing like all the actual floor. So when I went to go put the flakes on, it only stuck to the floor and didn't do anything on the actual brick itself. It looks awesome. I can't wait to see this when it's fully dry. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed those couple tips and tricks to help make your epoxy job a little bit easier. I know it definitely helped out me a ton. And let me just say and reiterate, prep is everything. I mean, doing the actual epoxy only took us like an hour and a half. It really was not that bad. It was definitely the easiest part of the whole process. But I know it's gonna look good because we spent all that time on the prep work. So thanks again for watching. Please let me know in the comments below if you've done your epoxy floor and how you think it turned out, and any tips and tricks that you might have to help other viewers. And if you have any other home improvement DIY project that you'd like to see me do, hit me up and let me know. definitely smash that like button, subscribe for more content. Until next time, we'll see you later.